Next is from our boy Edge Grocott. There's been multiple suspensions in this. He's a very toxic emailer. Could that the best way to describe it, Joe?
He's all right.
All right.
Right down the middle.
The subject is Wrestle and Disco's horrific music taste. Is that, Joe, would you call that down the middle? Does it the right initial?
No.
Right off of this.
Yeah, no.
Horrific is the terminology he used, and you said he calls it down the middle.
Yeah, no, that was he swung for the fences right off.
So would you would agree that maybe like Disco's questionable music taste would be more appropriate?
That would have been
word. Right, but he used the word horrific, and you said he calls it down the middle.
No, that's not leaving much room there.
Yeah, I would agree with him.
That is horrific.
Yeah.
But you don't call it down the middle.
No, I call it as I see them, and as I said when you said that the Beatles, they don't have any songs. I was like, get out of here, bro. You obviously haven't listened to any of their albums.
I've listened to every single song they've ever had multiple times. Okay,
and there's only 4 that you know.
No, it's little. It's
bro,
like
they're ubiquitous. They're part of. No, it wasn't all teeny bopper
music. It is
at the beginning. It was teeny bopper because they were very young and they had the Mo haircut.
Love me do.
Yeah, bro, you're talking about the 60s. You're talking about 60 years ago.
Our love.
That was hot back then.
So please love me do.
All right. That was 60 years ago. Why don't you sing the Twist by Chubby Checker too? That's not going to sound good.
It's a better song than Love Me Do.
I'll tell you what did sound good in the 60s. The Beach Boys.
Okay, right. I would agree. The Beach Boys are far better than the Beatles.
Not than the Beatles, but they're right there neck and neck.
Greetings from across the pond, chaps. Now AAA is effectively an arm of WWE. We triple down on your defense of the utter tripe we were delivered in this weekend in Vegas. 0 star power, 0 entertainment. Celebs that no one 30 miles east of Roswell had any idea about. The only highlight was Stone Cold nearly paralyzing a mark. Truly awful. Glenn, you really need to take a look at your playlist. Saying the Beatles only had 4 good songs when I could only name one Van Halen song who you admire so much is quite embarrassing. Educate thyself. Oasis songs to listen to. Rockin' Chair, Master Plan, Columbia, their B-Sides album, destroys anything Van Halen have ever produced. Sorry I'm late to the party and for the longest email, Edge for that's from Telford.
Well, Edge, let me just say one thing.
Multiple violations, Joe, 2 weeks.
Let me just say one thing, Edge. You're absolutely wrong if you say you can only name one Van Halen song.
Right. That's
they
1 week right
grip.
there. Yeah. This whole thing, and plus say it's calling them Van. That's another. Say it's for two big.
Not only that, in that
references.
group, you simultaneously had one of the best guitar players of all time, right?
Right.
Eddie Van Halen.
Right.
And without a doubt, one of the most charismatic frontmen of all time.
Think about how ignorant it is, where Eddie Van Halen is pretty much the consensus agreed upon, even by musical artists, as the greatest guitarist of all time, right? And this idiot, is professing that a guy in the best guitarist on the planet Earth and a band that had multiple albums only produced one good song.
Right.
Should we extend it beyond 2 weeks to actually maybe 3 weeks for like a penalty? Yeah. Let's give him 3 weeks, Joe. Edge grew cut. 3 weeks for stupidity. For actually coming after me and making yourself... Bro, there's a lot of things you can criticize about me. But this was moronic. It was like you try to get me into is just terrible.
Well, Disco, you got to consider that Edge is from Telford, England,
right?
UK, however you say it. But so he's gonna love the Beatles and Oasis because
it's fantastic. He still gets suspended for 3 weeks. Next is from Jonathan S. in Quispamsis, Canada.
Oh, by the way, let me just say one thing because he, at the beginning of the letter, and I don't remember the whole thing, he said that WWE had 0 star power
at the show. Yeah, the triple. Well,
then what's Cody Rhodes? What's Cena?
Yeah, I'll be brutally honest.
Those are stars.
Everybody and their mother. There's not a lot of positive response in this year's WrestleMania,
right?
Even internally.
But we were saying it for the longest time. The build-up has been terrible. Yeah,
right.
But how many people did they draw the first day?
Like 60.
And the next
60, 61. Like say 60 the next one too. Yeah.
That's a massive success. Doesn't matter. That's a massive. How much money did they make in merch?
Here's the one thing that WWE has mastered the art of. Is delivering content putting your best content out across multiple platforms so a lot of people view it every week, to where you continue to keep the fans engaged even when it's underwhelming entertainment that they don't want to watch the whole show, and they've extrapolated that into selling tickets to that massive fan base. Like that, then and they're doing it like I'll tell you one thing they aren't doing that I'm worried about is, dude, they're not doing a lot of episodic storytelling anymore. Like how many like backstage segments where people are having conversations with each other, like they used to like with the Bloodline. How many of those do you ever see anymore? It's like none. They're not even like doing those type of stories. So like everything is like last night the Jey Uso celebration. Dude, how long were they? How long did that segment last?
Forever. But that's great TV. That's great
it's
TV.
Not.
No, it is.
Why is that great? Why was that great TV? It was
because
too long.
If you're turning the channel, then you're like, what's going on here? These people are going nuts. It's one of the best parts. What would you rather see, that or a wrestling match?
Well, nothing's happening, though.
It's too long. Oh, no. Right. It's too long. That's the problem. But that's great TV.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, but it's too long, which is like an absence. Like, okay, you're filling. It's like house show.
3 hours. They got to fill that up somehow.
Yeah. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. Baseball season is in full swing, and we're into the home stretch for NBA and NHL playoffs, and there's more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news and scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played, with the largest selection of odds on everything from the MLB, NHL, and UFC. And in between games, head over to the BetOnline Casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino action. So BetOnline, the game starts here. The next one, Jason Turpin from Mint Hill, North Carolina. Hey guys, as you know, April's acceptance month. K100 deserves a lot of credit for its efforts. So let that kid take over your YouTube live stream last week was truly inspiring.
Ouch.
Go ahead, that's funny. Poor Hughes is getting roasted. And that should be, has anybody in any of these emails, Joe, and you have not, correct me if I'm wrong, every email has been sent to me, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Has one email uttered one sentence of positivity about Hughes?
Not that I recall. I don't recall any positivity, no.
Have there been a lot of negative comments?
Yeah. We're getting to all of them, yeah.
Anyways, the ending of the Cody Rhodes John Cena match left a lot of fans disappointed. Travis Scott's involvement felt shoehorned in, likely tied to a sponsorship deal promoting his music. But from a storyline perspective, his appearance made no sense. Leading up to WrestleMania, Ric Flair publicly expressed interest in being part of the Cody Cena angle. Having Flair come in to try and prevent Cena from breaking his record would have actually made sense. Yet, according to Flair, WWE wasn't interested in using him because allegedly he's still under contract with AEW. Flair's behavior has been unpredictable in recent years, and if you were booking and Rick was available, would you have brought him in for the angle? And also, Vince Russo has declared that Tony Khan was the only winner of WrestleMania weekend. Do you agree? Thanks, and that's from Jason Turpin. I don't know how Tony Khan got a win.
Yeah, I think because they mentioned Travis Scott, maybe.
But if they got a win, that he would post it on his social media account.
Yeah, I think
if he had a W, he thought,
this will lead to Cody versus Travis Scott at some point. I think. I
don't even know. I mean, bro. They're in complete. Like, let me give you another example. Right, Konnan, did you watch Raw last night?
Yes.
Okay, so they had the interview with Jey Uso, and after Sami comes out. And they show the shot at the end where it looks like Sami's kind of jealous that Jey Uso has the championship, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, dude, it's like, what, like, are we really going to continue to do this? Okay, the problem with that company is they never want to pull the trigger on somebody becoming a star, like somebody really elevating themselves. And what they do is they'll give a person a title, okay, or give them a belt, but instead of like trying to take this character to another level, they'll immediately like take the underling characters on the show and have them start working with that character, like Chelsea Green, doing these angles with Mia Yim and just, like all these, and then Jey Uso now, like they're looking to go like Jey Uso versus Sami Zayn.
Well,
let me finish here.
Yeah.
So if you look at that roster. Okay, and you look at all the top guys, and okay, Jey Uso's earned his spot. He's the world champion now. He needs to start integrating with these A-list characters. Where is Sami Zayn ranked on that list? Like 8th or 9th? Like seriously, he needs like a Drew McIntyre, a Cody Rhodes, a Seth Rollins, a Braun, somebody in that top sphere, instead of like just because the storyline points to Sami Zayn, and that's who he wrestles.
But what did you want to say, Joe?
I disagree because I see Sammy as top tier, and plus him and Jay have a whole lot of history they can reference. It's the first opponent after a Mania title win is always. It's not, they'll get to Drew, they'll get to these other guys with
but that's always the problem.
That
they take too long to get to the obvious things.
It's like
that people want to see.
Maybe they'll
then you get shoehorned into these angles, and they're underwhelming, and that they like the storylines there. But it's like ultimately it comes to when it comes to fruition of WrestleMania, you didn't give about a lot of these storylines, and they're continuing with that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So go ahead.
I'm a little bit more with Disco. So yeah, Sammy's over. I don't think they see him as a top guy. Okay. Right. And there is a difference. And I like Sammy. How can you not? I think they figure, okay, we'll do a slow burn with this guy that was like his brother who really liked him. Because remember when his brother didn't want him on the team?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And, and they have a history and all that. He finally turns on him. It's something interesting. Right. But I agree with Disco. He should have gone straight into Drew or somebody like that.
Right.
Get him hot, and then you can put him with Sami Zayn, and he can help elevate Sami Zayn.
Yeah. It's like, dude,
they did a great job of like elevating, and I predicted almost every single one, Glenn, if you go back to when we were doing the WrestleMania predictions. But the one thing that they did a real good job is the people that needed to be elevated were elevated.
Okay, let me go over this with you. I want to talk about this.
Right.
All right. So let's rank coming out of WrestleMania.
Right.
Let's rank. You have John Cena champion A and Cody and John's what's his name champion B?
Jeez.
John Cena and
how weird was that? Before you continue, and Joe, if you want to say something, how weird was that we heard Cody get booed for the first time?
I was not surprised at that though.
Yeah,
because that's people coming from all over the world. They're probably John Cena fans, so
right.
And they're just going to like celebrate.
But
John
nevertheless,
Cena.
people don't know that at home.
Yeah, but that's like the first time I was thinking because the WrestleMania crowd, you're wondering, well, what's the crowd reaction is going to be like?
Right.
They but the roof blew off when Dom won. This guy was getting booed out of the so they appreciate the act.
Right.
Like in the performance and
right.
we're applauding the fact that this
100%.
Right. That's how they treat it. So okay, so let's do this. This is interesting. Who are let's do the old wrestling magazines. All right, you got the top two champions. Who are the top 10 in WWE? Like, if you were going to rank the contenders, like who should be the first people up to wrestle for the world championship? Okay, I've got my first three.
Yeah.
All right, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and Gunther. Okay, that's my first
over
three.
Punk.
Yes. Well, that's the thing. Because that's my point. This is a very difficult top 5 to top 10 to rank. Right. Then you got Punk and Rollins.
Because those are okay, go ahead.
Then you got Drew.
Right.
That's 6, right? Okay, think about that. Roman, Cody, Punk, Seth, Drew,
I would put
Gunther.
Orton before Drew.
Okay, now you get 7.
Logan Paul.
But no one now you're pushing top back. Here's my point.
Logan Paul's a good one.
Logan Paul 8th. Okay.
Right.
So this is my point, Joe. Where's Sami Zayn on that
9th.
List?
Nothing.
Yeah, Sami Zayn's like 9th or bro.
Right.
I would rather see Jey Uso against that list of guys that were top guys against one of those guys.
But if they do a good, because you have a lot of good different places you can go with that storyline that are really, really good. If they make a good storyline out of it, they could both come out better than they went in, which is what you always want. And then you immediately have to put Jey Uso was one of those top 5 guys.
Right. And then this is another thing. As we're getting near the end of the list, when you're talking about like the Sami Zayns now, right? Bro, those are the people that need to be working with Jacob Fatu and Sami Zayn and who's and Dominic Mysterio.
Right.
Okay, so that's just like they've literally taken one of the guys that should be working with Dom or Jacob Fatu, and they think that that's the character that they need to. I don't even know how the story's going. I mean, it may be different, right? But they think that the storyline we're being told right now is going to be those two, and I'm like, I don't want. It's like, dude, that's not. A-list booking.
But
you're trying to go
but
ahead.
they could make it A-list storytelling, and you can get into it.
You could.
Sammy cuts great promos,
Right.
is a good wrestler, and is over.
Yeah.
Right? So they could both come out. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They can both come out smelling good from this. But as I stated before, off of this, Jay needs to go with somebody strong. And if you're pushing Sammy, he needs to go with somebody strong.
Right, exactly. That's the point. And like I said, because they've been making mistakes, matching up the wrong match, like the not compelling matchups. We laid out, you need to take care of those 8 guys and make them compelling. My thing is right now, that's one of those 8 guys you need to feed to Jacob Fatu. That he needs, because
that's another guy for the top 10.
Right. Because Fatu
ready for another one? Another one?
Yeah.
Braun Breaker
too, right? So
how great was that alliance at the end? I love that.
So here's funny. Like if you start looking at this as like UFC booking, okay.
Right.
Now what you have to figure out, okay, who's your number 1 contender?
Right.
And like your top 2 guys should be in line to like of your like right now they're positioned like Seth, Roman, Punk. That match was like the top 3 guys, and whoever wins, whatever, right? So that should be like your top guy to work with right now.
Yeah.
So your next, so I would think, bro, like how like they have like remember when Sean O'Malley, the reason he got fast tracked to the world title, he's because he was a compelling champ. He's compelling, right? But he was ranked 13th. Dana White put him on a pay-per-view against the number 3 guy in the division, Peter Yan, to try basically, okay, I'm testing this guy. This is like you're getting, like one of these matches in Raw where you wrestle the champ.
And he drew great numbers.
Drew great numbers, and he beat the guy. Okay, so you fast track the guy into that top tier.
Right.
He won another fight, then let him fight for the championship. Became the champion. That's what you should do with Jacob Fatu right now.
Yeah,
like Jacob Fatu should be fed like one of those top 5 guys.
Right.
In an angle again, like because bro, the people like him. You're riding that
What's
train.
not to like?
You got that momentum, so it's like I'm just saying it'd be interesting.
Plus, bro, let me just say this: I'm so happy for him. He's a sweetheart of a guy, and I can't wait to run into him. And here's another thing that might help us. I haven't asked yet because we're still figuring a lot out. But now that I am part of the WWE family, maybe we can get some wrestlers on the podcast.
Yeah. Well, we should be able to. There should be no problem.
Damian Priest always wanted to come on, but I couldn't.
Yeah, but no. Our first guest is going to be, who's going to be the first guest for sure?
Jeremy?
No.
Grande Americano?
Go Grande Americano. Will be the first guest for sure.
It's tremendous. We should do that. We should do that.
Because we do the thing where
they would probably be, look at his promotion,
How funny would this be? He's sitting there and he has the interpreter.
Right.
We ask the question. Okay, the interpreter whispers in his ear.
Right.
He whispers back, and then the interpreter tells us what he said.
Yeah.
Right.
Yo, what's up? I just want to thank you guys for watching this clip. Don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And join our YouTube membership for hours and hours of exclusive, unedited, uncensored content. And being a member will help you get involved in our upcoming live streams. Thank you for your support. Thank you for riding with us. I know you got a lot of other podcast choices, be it wrestling or other ones. And thank you for picking us. Boom.